Reverend John L. Wood was born in 1820. He was raised in rural Sullivan County, Missouri, near Milan. He was a Methodist minister during the Civil War. During that time, Methodist churches all across Missouri were divided between the Union and the Confederacy.
Missouri was a slave state, but really stuck up into the north. There was fierce competition between the two wings for the loyalty of people in the church here in the state. Many ministers in the Southern Church were in favor of the Union. They were not slave owners, but the fact that they were ministers in the Methodist Church South was enough to condemn them in the eyes of Northerners.
On March 22, 1864, Reverend Wood came to the Putnam County Courthouse to testify in a case here in historic downtown Unionville. On his way back home to Sullivan County, he was attacked and shot in the back by a group of Union soldiers. He died a few hours later. He was murdered only because of one reason. He was a minister from the South.
They were martyred because they were attempting to preach during this horrendous time.
According to the Missouri Conference of the United Methodist Church, Reverend Wood was one of 7 Methodist ministers killed by Union soldiers simply because they were ministers of the Methodist South Church.
It wasn't the religion they were preaching, it was the fact that they were from the South. They were Southern Methodists rather than plain old Northern Methodists. And it really was, that's what it was about, North and South. They just wanted to get rid of anything in this area that even smacked of Southern.
On October 11, 2011, the Missouri Conference of the United Methodist Church dedicated a marker at his gravesite at Judson Cemetery in Sullivan County as part of the commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the Civil War.
None of them had any type of marker by their stone saying that they had been a Methodist minister who was killed for their faith. And when you talk about the Civil War, this is a huge, in many ways, family fight with literally brother against brother. And the fact that you would kill an innocent person is probably indicative of how horrible things were around here at that time period.
Wood left behind a wife, his children, and his parents. His parents were buried next to him. His wife and children were never heard from again.
Most of the ministers who were killed left wives and small children. In a world without any type of security net, many of these wives and their children had to go back to wherever their families were.
The Missouri Conference of the United Methodist Church hopes that these stories of the Civil War will teach our children about the darkest years of American history and hope the bloodshed of the innocent will never be forgotten. Reporting from Sullivan County, Vanessa Alonzo, KTVO News.